thank you, Kristene Doyle, for agreeing to talk to me for a professional website. The topic of our talk today is going to be a SWOT assessment or analysis of the REBT community, and SWOT stands for S for strengths, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. Just in case people are not familiar with that term. So let's start off with what you see in your capacity as Associate Executive Director of the Institute. What do you see as the strengths of the REBT community?
The first strength that pops out in my mind, and this may be a reflection that we're just coming off the summer trainings, is the international presence that REBT has. Looking at the Associate Fellowship program that we just ran, the majority of the trainees were from other countries, as well as the advanced. And I think that presence is something that we should capitalize on, that maybe this is going into a weakness we don't necessarily do as well as we could.
How could we capitalize on that strength?
Bringing those individuals that have been trained probably at the associate fellowship level and definitely supervisory level together yearly, annually, or every 2-3 years, something where we could come together for some sort of summit, exchange of ideas, assessing what's going on within the REBT community from a theoretical standpoint, from a professional standpoint, and then with recommendations following through.
Right. Okay, so the international presence of professionals in the community is a strength. What other strengths do you see the REBT community as having?
I think that the range of professional backgrounds that comes through our trainings, training psychiatrists and nurses and other types of therapists throughout more other countries. We tend to get a variety of backgrounds that way. The university professors that are becoming more and more interested in REBT, which I think is definitely something that is a positive aspect that we need to do more with to get REBT to the university level, which I'm always disappointed to hear when people come through and say that they took psychology throughout university and never heard of REBT. So I think that the number of professors that are becoming more and more interested in it is also a strength for REBT's future. So
that's sort of like a second area of diversity in terms of the background. The first strengths with the diversity of nations, we might call it, and the second one would be the diversity of backgrounds, and you particularly welcome the increasing interest among college professors in terms of REBT.
I have another strength, which goes more to the theory itself. And this comes not just from the trainings that we do here, but also from my own clinical experience. I think that probably one of our biggest strengths is the elegant solution. I think that sets us apart from a lot of other types of CBT for a deeper, more long-lasting philosophical shift. And I think that I see that with my own particular clients, that where they've had...
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, the focus of this institute is the community, and so I guess, for me to pick up on what you just said, do you have a sense that as a community we are still taking ours lead and really kind of following through on the elegant solution as a community?
As a community, I hope so. Yes, I do. I do believe that we're doing that. I can only speak from my own experience with those.
You supervise a lot of people.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. I think that it's what sets us apart, and it's what works. And it's when you talk to people, whether they're the client community or even the professional community that come in here to be trained, when you really talk about the elegant solution, that's what they say is what's most helpful and what definitely is what sets us apart.
Right. And I guess there's in a way, sort of a bit of a tension between to what extent should the REBT community maintain an independent presence from the more general CBT community, or to what extent should we, in a sense, build bridges, make links? To what extent, should we, if you like, become a rationally motive and cognitively behavioural community rather than that? I wonder what you see the kind of the strengths of those positions that I've just outlined.
Well, I think I would agree that it would be in REBT's best interest, long-term interest, to become part of the rational motive and cognitive behavior therapy community and make links with the other types of therapies, while at the same time maintaining its unique aspects. I think there's a lot more similarities than not, and we don't have to lose what makes us distinct in that process. But from what I see going to professional conferences, I don't see a whole lot of REBT representatives there, and that part is quite concerning. And with no disrespect to Al, who trained me and I have deep respect for, he didn't necessarily do the greatest job at bridging those, the therapies with REBT.